Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another installment of ISV Success Live. My name is Brian Galicia, and I lead our Dynamics 365 global ISV business here. And every Monday at 8 o'clock West Coast time, we host amazing ISVs in our Dynamics ecosystem. And Goodney from Amisys is an amazing opportunity to have a conversation about all the great IP they do, specifically around retail and restaurants that you saw in the teaser video that we started with. So before I introduce Goodney, let me give you an opportunity to just understand why do we do this, and a couple of housekeeping items that we start out with every time we do this. So first off, if you're watching live, thank you. We'd love to know where you're watching from. So if you are doing this from the East Coast in Georgia, where Goodney is sitting, or myself on the West Coast in Seattle, or anywhere in between, maybe you're in Europe, maybe you're in Latin America, maybe you're up really late in Asia. We'd love to give you guys a shout out. And if you just want to type in the LinkedIn window, a comment of where you're watching from, we'll do that towards the intro at the beginning to just acknowledge that you're here. Second is that if you have a question for Goodney or something that we're talking about with Amisys Solutions, feel free to also put that in the LinkedIn window. And if there's time at the end, I'll give an opportunity to ask Goodney a specific question. And then finally, if during the dialogue, if there's something of interest that it's really resonating with you, we'd love to have you use one of the emoji icons inside of the LinkedIn experience, like, support, etc., because that gives Goodney and I just some context that whatever we're talking about is actually resonating for the people either watching live, or eventually you might come across this on a replay. So without further ado, Goodney, thank you so much for allocating time in your schedule to have a conversation with me. So as I start out and have all my guests on the show, why don't you start out with what's your role at Amisys Solutions? And then my favorite question as an icebreaker is, what's one thing not on your LinkedIn profile that you are open to sharing to the audience so they get to know you?
Yeah, perfect. Hey, Brian, thanks for having me on. Let me give a quick introduction to myself. So my role at Amisys Solutions is Director of Services, and I wear a few hats. So in addition to this, so essentially engaging in a lot of the opportunities that we have with our ISV solution, I also collaborate and work closely with our product development teams, and take part in kind of a solution architect capacity within some of our key projects. And for example, when it comes to solution architecture, one of the kind of recognitions I have received is the Microsoft Fast Track Recognized Solution Architect. And I've been recognized with this 4 years in a row now. And this is kind of given to the top tier architects that work in this Microsoft Business Application ecosystem. When it comes to some of my kind of experiences, and just to kind of shed a little light on this, you might initially think kind of I'm very functionally focused, but when I started out in this industry, which was almost 20 years ago, I actually started as a developer. And I actually got the opportunity to work on developing and building out functionality for the solution that is now known as Commerce, or 365 Commerce for Microsoft. So that's one kind of interesting thing that's given me, I'd say, kind of a different perspective on working with other customers, and also kind of building out IP and supporting our product development teams as progress through the years. So that's kind of a quick intro myself. Oh, and I'm from Iceland. So if people don't know Iceland, it's probably the size of the state of Kentucky, and it has a total population of 400,000 people. So yeah. And Brian, the second point, what's not on my LinkedIn profile? I think one of the things that's not on my LinkedIn profile, but is pretty important to me, is fishing, specifically fly fishing. So this is a passion of mine, and whenever I'm traveling for work, wherever I am, I usually have my fly fishing rod with me. Yeah, so give you an example, like I'd be on a project in San Diego. I'd go surfing in the morning, which is absolutely like an amazing place, an amazing hobby to have. And then in the afternoon after work, I'd roll up my trousers and wade into the off the beach and do some fly fishing, and some of the things I caught there probably make me reconsider going surfing. So, for example, catching some sharks and things like this. God knows what is in there. So
I
yeah,
love it. Goodney, thank you for the great introduction. And without saying anything, I think people, if they're looking in your background, they could probably get the subtleties with the fish behind you. And of course,
yeah,
when we were doing a pre-show last week, I kind of got a hint that that was a
yeah,
passion area without even knowing you that well. And then the
yeah,
other is your fast track thing. And again, congratulations. That is a big, big recognition because there is that's a high bar distinction that Microsoft makes on
yeah,
who can get that recognition. And I think that's the thing in the to the right of your shoulder with the
yeah.
little because I've seen a few of them, and I'm like, I think that is the letter
Yep,
that's written by someone with a
that's exactly
crystal.
it.
So yeah, I love the subtleties that without you saying anything, people would go, "Oh, wait a second, that's a recognition from Fast Track." If they
Yeah,
zoom in. I love it. So before we get started, let me do a quick shout out for everyone watching live because we did get it's great because you think about the time zones. I think Asia, I think Americas, and I think EMEA. We have people listening around the world, which is usually typically what happens. So Tom, thank you for watching from Oswego, New York. We appreciate that. Luz from Seattle, Washington, super close to me. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Rommel from Bangalore, India. So thank you so much. I know it's super late your time. From Canada, we have Oleg. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. From Edmonton, thank you so much. We have Paulina from Poland. Thank you, Paulina, for making a time. And then one more, Vija Lakshmi. Hopefully, again, I apologize. I'm probably not saying your name correctly, but thank you so much for making the time to listen again. Similar to Rommel, it's super late in India time, but we appreciate you making the time to listen to the conversation with Goodney and I. So, one more snuck in, and then Amar from Delhi, India, another place from Delhi. So thank you so much, Amar, for doing it. Oh, and one more. Sorry. I love it. A few more people. Katarina, again, apologies. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. Another one from, again, gosh, another city I've heard of Krakow, but I've never heard of this city in Poland. So thank you so much for making the time. So let's get started, Goodney. When you think about Amisys, and of course, the video we showed at the very beginning was a great teaser for the business outcomes you drive in restaurants, but maybe you can spend the time for anyone who's never heard of Amisys Solutions. Give us some context as to what is the outcomes that you drive in
yeah.
relationships with Microsoft.
Perfect. Thanks, Brian. So I like normally the way that I kind of give an intro to Amisys Solutions is that we're primarily an ISV. So our bread and butter is building out enhancements, functionality capabilities to Microsoft's, and we're a Microsoft focused ISV. And build out capabilities, functionalities on top of Microsoft's business applications. So one of these, and we have a number of different products that we offer on AppSource, Microsoft's marketplace. One of the key products, and the one for discussion today, is Amicis Lifestyle. And Amicis Lifestyle focuses in on the restaurant industry. Okay, it is basically a solution that extends Microsoft Dynamics finance and operations, and it brings in that kind of core key restaurant functionality and capabilities. And just to give you kind of an insight into what it is that we bring to the table, first off, Microsoft obviously has finance, supply chain, commerce, so the point of sale. And what we bring in here is capabilities that allow restaurant chains to essentially run their business using the Microsoft business application stack. And we bring functionality to the table like for fast casual, dine-in, and any kind of restaurant operations out there. And included in this is, for example, full kitchen automation, meaning, someone orders online or someone orders through the point of sale in a restaurant, and the order goes into kind of the kitchen for preparation. And there is kind of a full automation and workflow within the kitchen. Recipe management, and this is maybe one of the kind of related to one of the key business outcomes here is recipe management allows these restaurant chains to efficiently and effectively manage their cost. So ingredient cost. So if you think about it, someone sells a pizza, and behind this are raw materials. Each one has their own cost, and selling a pizza will drive specific consumption of those ingredients within the supply chain. And then we have various mechanisms to, for example, automatically replenish. So we forecast and replenish based on this consumption of those raw materials, and are able to, meet a very key kind of need from the customer's perspective. And if you think about it, it's not only cost that is, food cost that is key to any restaurant customer. It's also labor cost. Like, these are the two key kind of components to a restaurant chain efficiently running their business. And this is exactly where we come in. And with Amicis Lifestyle and Microsoft Dynamics, we are essentially bringing this kind of holistic end-to-end solution to the table, where these customers are normally used to managing multiple different systems, one system for recipe management, another system for their point of sale, same for the supply chain, replenishment, and so forth. And we're essentially, by partnering and working with Microsoft and building on top of Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations, we're essentially allowing this customer or these customers to use one single solution. So, and this is essentially like Amisys is bringing all of these components together. So and some other kind of areas that we focus in on, whether it's aggregator ordering, table management, and so forth. Like, we're bringing all of these components in play.
I love it, Goodney. What a amazing IP that you guys have built out for many years on top of the Dynamics platform. Maybe because I think about my own restaurant experience, I think about a couple things. One is the loyalty perspective as well. I assume that you probably have loyalty capabilities in there because you want to create the frequency of, hey, I can come in and it knows like how many times you've been there, so it can offer up maybe every 10th entree you purchase, then you get a free one. Is that some of the capabilities?
Exactly. And the beautiful thing about the Microsoft F&O solution is that there is this core component within F&O, which is focused in and around loyalty. And what we've done in that specific space is we've connected this into the food and beverage area. And in the case, whether it's a specific combo is available, or specific combination, specific pricing available to a customer that is a loyalty customer, depending on the tiers the customer has or is qualifying for. So we have, the VIP customers, different tiered kind of loyalty incentives that we can offer. And not only can we kind of offer this up in store, we offer this online. So our solution is also fully embedded within the e-com selling channels or e-com selling solution from Microsoft as well. So loyalty is a key component. And in addition to this, if we kind of expand to how we engage with the customers as well, we've also taken a step into customer engagement or customer marketing solution from Microsoft, whereby a customer is arriving at the restaurant. We identify that the customer has arrived at the restaurant. Now we can bring them into a specific journey that we orchestrate ahead of time to incentivize the customer. So if you think about it, the customer comes in, this is a premium customer. Now, just for this customer belonging to a specific segment, we're able to offer them up specific incentives and things like this. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of kind of benefits that are available with the solution, and obviously, in collaboration with the Microsoft offering that is out there as well.
Yeah, I love it, Goodney. Yeah, because I think about simple things too, because I know some of the restaurants my family and I go to, simple things like, hey, it knows when your birthday, if you choose to enter your birthday, it actually will send you something during that birthday month going, oh, you know what? If you come in and eat at our restaurant, you get your meal free or you get a dessert for free. And
E-
that's great for
Exactly, and that's connected to kind of the customer segmentation. So knowing that, for a given period, certain customers belong to a certain segment, for example,
Mhm.
birthdays, and then we can initiate, promotional, notifications to the customer, whether it's when they arrive at the restaurant or even if
Mhm.
it's ahead of time. So yeah, no, that's spot on, and we handle these, specific scenarios as well.
Yeah, it's so powerful when you think about the capabilities. Because you think about all of us go to restaurants. I mean, I think anyone listening on this on this LinkedIn Live will probably say that yes, they have been to many different restaurants. I love how you just touched upon all these things, and I think about the outcomes, and it's great because you think about like the average, the checks that the revenue that can come from optimizing all these things,
Yeah,
optimizing all these things can really go up, and then it allows the more capacity because that's the biggest thing. If you get people in their seats and able to take their orders super quickly and ensure your supply chain is
yeah,
replenished so you don't run out of a certain ingredient, it's great that Amisys does all those things to help optimize that to not only increase profit but also ensure the supply chain, the processes to do
ex,
these things
ex,
provide the best experience.
exactly. Yeah,
Okay, great. So let's go to the next question. And of course, Amisys, and of course, you getting that fast track recognition. Why don't you talk a little bit about what's the experience been like being part of the partner ecosystem at Microsoft across the Microsoft cloud? Of course, you touch on Dynamics piece, but there's so many other
yeah,
things that you do as well. Maybe you could touch upon just the experience that Amisys has had being a Microsoft
yeah.
partner around Dynamics F&O.
Perfect. So maybe the first thing, and this is from the ISV standpoint. So the experience, first off, is amazing, and it's kind of touches on many different areas. One of them is how Microsoft has engaged the ISV community. So for us, Microsoft obviously has AppSource. Microsoft has a marketplace, and from the kind of the technical side, and us delivering an ISV solution, Microsoft has made it a really streamlined, efficient process for us to bring new solutions basically to the table, right? And it gives us an opportunity to market these solutions out to the customers and out to or through and into the partner network. Okay. And the process of kind of the validations that Microsoft has in place, to validate the quality of the solutions is very strong. So that's kind of the first one. This is like how we get our solution kind of into play, and it allows us then to take this step into the Microsoft seller community, right? Where and as I mentioned, like we're primarily an ISV, and what does this mean? It means, yes, we also do services. So we sell and implement our own solution, our own ISV solution. But we also, and this is a key part, we also work very closely with other Microsoft sellers. And what we allow them to do is to basically bring additional value, additional capabilities to their customers. So if you think about this, there could be a Microsoft seller out there that has implemented finance for a restaurant chain, and they might be implementing inventory management. And when it comes to the point of sale, there is a key piece that, let's say, in the past has been missing, and that's truly the restaurant operations aspect, right? And this is where we come in really strong. And by bringing this solution um, to these partners, these resellers, they're essentially able to then like add or give the customer added value from having selected, the Microsoft Business Solution stack. And we engage with customers globally. We engage with these Microsoft resellers globally. And the reason why we can do this is because of the core platform. The core platform supports multiple or almost all countries, and has a really strong footing across the globe. So, not only are we engaged, with these Microsoft sellers globally, but we're also pretty much engaged in projects on every continent. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think maybe just the key thing is like from our standpoint is like we're giving these Microsoft resellers the opportunity to kind of expand the customer's business right into other areas. Yeah.
That's fantastic, Goodney. I appreciate the validation of some of the benefits that many, not just you have experienced, but many of our other partners have as well. And I love how you talk about just that additional industry value because it takes that the final mile. Because people, of course, can buy a traditional ERP, what we call finance and operations here at Microsoft, but in a traditional ERP solution. But where Amisys really comes in, it really helps to amplify that final mile that most companies need to have because a solution that's comes out of the box is good, but what makes it even better is when you can actually have the relevant industry IP, especially for a restaurant, food and beverage type of scenario, to go in and drive that that final mile value. So maybe we can spend we have about 9 minutes left. Maybe we can spend 9 minutes with the two final questions that I typically ask is one, what's a customer example? So you talked about all these amazing benefits.
Yeah.
And so what's, because of course you're in these deployments a lot, what's one of your favorite examples that you've seen so far where someone was using very legacy scenarios or different solutions and then they came across Amisys, they learned like, oh my gosh, this can be transformative. Maybe talk about just in a few minutes a really good customer story that you've
Yeah.
experienced.
So there are a lot, but maybe just first off, I think like we've been very fortunate to work on some amazing projects with some amazing customers, and this is globally. Okay. And when we see our ISV solution, enable a customer, whether small or large, like it's unbelievable, right? They're refining, they're changing the way they do business and so forth. So maybe one of the customers that I would mention, and I won't mention them by name, but this customer is one of the largest restaurant operators in Europe. They have multiple brands. They operate in multiple countries, and they have thousands of restaurants. So for this specific customer, it's been it or maybe to start off with again, like I talked about, like expand, like Microsoft sellers, they're expanding into other areas. Maybe a customer has implemented something prior. So this specific customer was engaged with Microsoft. This customer was engaged in Azure and BI projects. And what they then needed when it came to another area of their business was they wanted to remove or kind of consolidate. They had a lot of different disparate systems that were recipe management. They many point of sale systems and supply chain and so forth. So what we actually brought to the table here was that unified solution that's focused in on the restaurant industry, which is exactly what they were looking for. And what this has given them is the ability to run their supply chain, inventory management, recipe management, restaurant operations, whether it's restaurant specific functionality around how to manage your inventory. So yeah, this was one customer that definitely is an amazing customer. And what is it? Last year we went live and have been rolling out their Pizza Hut brand. And currently we're engaged in additional rollout of additional brands in their offering. So yeah, it's definitely some awesome things going on there. So
Yeah, that's great. Goodney. I mean, I think to your point, when you have a restaurant organization, I'm sure large or small, but the fact that this specific example had to deal with multiple types of brands, because that happens. You
yeah,
can imagine there's and it's spanning multiple countries in Europe. The complexity of all those different things, and you're putting that all together to make
yeah,
the outcome. And of course, the recipe experience, the loyalty stuff, all the things we just talked about kind of towards the beginning on the value proposition all comes into play. And I love hearing that. So when you think about, of course, we're kind of towards the end of our conversation. What would you recommend people take as next steps? If someone's listening to this and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is exactly something that whether I'm a Microsoft seller selling into the restaurant experience, maybe even though you do implementations, but I'm sure to your point, you're an
Yeah.
ISV, and so." What would partners do who maybe aren't familiar with you? How do they learn more? And then if there's a potential buyer that comes across this going, oh, I'm a restaurant.
Yeah.
These are challenges that I experience. What would you recommend as kind of next steps for people to take?
Exactly. So first off, as I mentioned, like we are an ISV, like that's our focus, ISV first. So when it comes to all the partners out there, like we work with partners. We resell our solution through partners. We help partners implement our solutions, and like that is one of the key points to our model. So I would say if you are a partner, you have a customer that has, as I mentioned before, implemented financials, inventory management, and they haven't yet taken the step or even realized that there is a possibility to take a step to implement their restaurant operations using the Dynamics platform instead of business application, then this is definitely one of the points that I want to kind of bring to attention here. And possible to reach out. You can reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. You can reach us through our website, and Brian, I think you had info at amicissolutions.com as well. So by all means, reach out, and more than happy to engage and look at the opportunities. And whether you're a partner, whether you're a customer, whether you're within Microsoft, by all means, reach out. We have some great success stories. We have some amazing customers, and yeah, like if we think about what's ahead of us, we're doing some things, some really good stuff around generative AI.
Mm.
Forecasting and replenishment is an area that we're looking and focusing in on, along with kind of, and this is one thing in the restaurant industry. I'd say it's the user experience, and the user experience is twofold. It can be through the workers, like what is the workers' experience when they use the system, and again, what is the customer's experience, like how do they perceive the system? They might not know directly, what it looks like, maybe through self-service kiosks or e-commerce, but the customer's experience is kind of connected to, and Brian, you mentioned it earlier, like that loyalty or that marketing channel, right? Knowing that someone's birthday, like this is another area that we're really, really focusing in on. So some amazing stuff, coming up, and yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Goodney, and thank you for offering that up because I was going to ask like, hey, what's next or what you could share, and I'm so glad that Amisys is doing that because for anyone who's paying attention to, of course, not just Microsoft but just the industry in general, everything's around generative AI and how are people taking advantage of that, and I love how Amisys. I mean, because there's so many use cases in your solution
Yeah.
that can really be powerful in that process. And
Yeah.
I love how you made that comment. And I put, of course, flashed up those things. And I did want to call out when you think about the listing, the 6 different solutions. I believe it's 6 that are listed in
Yeah.
our app source today. This link, if you want, people want to screenshot it or just type in that window right now so you get access to it. All the great scenarios that Goodney, he focused on a few, but you're going to find that when you go into that link, it actually shows all 6 that are out there to give you really anyone listening some amazing insight to this. So we're at time, Goodney. Any final comments before we wrap up the show and I replay the video at the very beginning just to showcase again the amazing solutions that Amisys provides?
Just Brian, thanks for having us on. It's amazing to collaborate with you. It's amazing to collaborate with Microsoft, and like getting to work with the Microsoft sellers, and obviously, lastly, like the customers. Like it's pretty amazing. So yeah, just thank you for having us on, and look forward to connecting and with everyone who has been watching or has a question or something along those lines. So.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Goodney. Well, enjoy the remainder of the day. Hopefully, in the near future, you'll be able to get back to fly fishing again in one of your next places that you go to. For everyone watching, thank you for watching live or coming across the replay. As I mentioned, we do these ISV Success live shows every Monday at 8 o'clock, as long as I'm not on vacation or don't have a conflict. And if you wanted to, again, follow any of the past shows that we've done, not just with Goodney, but any of the other ISVs we've done so far, because we're on episode 83, I believe, which is hard to believe that we started this during COVID. And it continue to offer this value back so that people can get to know many of our amazing partners in our ecosystem. So with that being said, thank you so much, Goodney, for the time. Thank you, Amisys Solutions, for being a fantastic partner. And enjoy the rest of the day, everybody, and enjoy the video. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.